Hey guys, starting in just one moment, just getting these speakers up, and then we will begin in a few minutes. Okay, looking like we are good to go. We have, I believe it is Cynthia and James here today from DTravel joining us for a Twitter space. We're going to learn a little bit about DTravel, talk a bit about their community involvement you guys can get involved in, as well as the most recent Galxe campaign. So let's go ahead and just straight up dive right into it. Cynthia and James, feel free to give us an introduction to yourselves and just a little bit of your background as well, maybe how you got into crypto.
Sure, yeah, I can start. Hey, Galaxy community, we're super excited to be here and share more about DTravel and then also share how you can get involved. So my name is Sin or Cynthia. I'm the CEO of DTravel, and my journey into crypto is probably like everyone else's, kind of a windy, curvy way. I found out about Ethereum in 2016, and then we actually built about 10 mining rigs in our house, and it was pretty bad because we couldn't even
That's
use
wild.
our we couldn't even use our washer and dryer because it would trip the system. So we had to do our
Yeah.
laundry off premises, but it was such an amazing experience. Really got passionate about the Web3 space, or crypto as we called it back then. And then I actually co-founded Altcoin Fantasy, which was a crypto game. It was to teach people about how to trade crypto all through simulation trading competitions. And we grew that to over 350,000 people, all organic, but unfortunately got shut down by Google Play right as DeFi summer was starting. But that led me to
Mhm.
DTravel. So, it's true what they say, everything happens for a reason.
No, I agree 100%. And yeah, 10 minus for that's a good one. I've not that yeah, you threw me for a loop with that one. Very cool though. Thank you for the introduction. James, feel free to give us an introduction as well.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for having us. My name is James. I'm the head of marketing at DTravel, full-time digital nomad. So really living the brand. Currently based in Copenhagen.
Okay.
And yeah, I've been in crypto since not quite as early as Sin, but maybe 2017, and kind of just been a bit of a degen ever since. I love to play around with different applications, protocols. Um, yeah, even though I'm responsible for all the marketing at DTravel, we're a small team. We all wear many hats, and not only are we focused on our individual roles, but we're very involved and passionate about the vacation rental space, but also the products that we're building on a daily basis.
Great intro. Yeah, and I mean 2017 is still very early in my opinion. So, but I wish I was earlier myself. So course. Thank you for the great intro, guys. Very excited to chat about DTravel today. Personally, myself, actually, before I got into crypto, I was into the travel industry. I was wanting to build like a tour company myself and stuff like that. And then COVID happened. So I've got a little bit of teeny bit of history myself in that area. So I'm very interested to hear what you guys are working on. So for the questions today, I'll just field you guys the questions, and you guys can feel free to just choose amongst yourselves who will answer. So obviously, to start, we'll just go right into, what is DTravel? Could you give us your best just explanation for those that don't know what DTravel is today?
Yeah, for sure. So I can give you a little rundown, and we can talk a little bit about what we're building. But DTravel is a community-owned ecosystem on a mission to create a rewarding travel experience for everyone through direct connections and on-chain products that empower ownership. So we're really focused on vacation rentals, accelerating the global adoption of direct bookings, and really making it easy for anyone to book vacation rentals directly with a property manager or an owner rather than having to go through a third-party booking platform. And the benefit there is obviously you're able to have a direct link between, the traveler is able to have a direct link between the property manager, direct line of communication. You can avoid the commission fees often charged by third-party booking platforms. And at the end of the day, our vision is to really empower ownership in travel. So things like, as a user of the product, whether you're a vacation rental operator or even a traveler, sort of the business that you run, your online identity, so your travel data, history, preferences, that's kind of our vision.
So, so a way to compare this would be, so if I was someone looking to book a vacation rental, which I guess is that more of a broad term of like home, hotel, etc., or would it be more of like a person with a rental property, just in particular, similar to like Airbnb, for example, with eliminating the Airbnb and the
Yeah,
Airbnb fees?
yeah. We've
Okay,
we've
so that's great.
we've started to lean into the term vacation rental because, there are short-term rentals is probably a little more descriptive, but there's this
Yeah.
growing trend towards midterm rentals and sort of longer-term rentals. So travelers are starting to book these type of accommodation options for more than a night or two. It's upwards of 30 days or maybe even longer, depending. So especially within the digital nomad community and sort of crypto traveler community.
No, I completely agree. I've seen a lot more of that myself and heard a lot more of that. I've also wanted to participate more in that myself. Although I was going to spend, I was hoping to before I was going to spend a summer. Maybe I'm in Canada currently, even just in another city, right? But all of the rental prices were just nuts. Like it was just not worth it at all. It would really plead you dry. So.
Yeah.
Especially with the extra fees it's just brutal, yeah. And recently as well, it's been, I guess, at an all-time worst point in my opinion. But
Yeah.
yeah, this is interesting to hear. So what kind of led you to this decision? Why DTravel? What was the initial goal? Was this something that was sort of put together long term, or was it more of a spur of the moment?
Yeah, I can field this question. So before I jumped into the rabbit hole or the black vortex of crypto, I actually used to be a product manager, but I was also a vacation rental host or property
Interesting.
manager.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I started my journey as a property manager in 2014. I had an extra room in my house. I had actually stayed at an Airbnb in San Francisco, very early days in 2013. That was really interesting. So I was like, well, I love to meet people. I love to travel. So why don't I just rent out this extra room? And I remember my friends thinking like, what the hell? You're
It
so
sounds
weird.
crazy,
Like,
right?
yeah, it's like you just have some like random person
Some
in your
stranger.
house. Yeah, and it wasn't even, a separate unit. They were literally in my house, like sharing my bathroom, sharing my kitchen. And actually, I'll tell like a funny side story. So I remember my very, very first guest from LA, and I'm Asian. And so he was this white
Yeah.
guy staying with me, and we don't wear shoes inside the house. So when he showed up, I was like, "Oh, please take off your shoes, because we don't wear shoes inside the house." And then he was like, "Oh, but you have these slippers that you wear inside the house." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I wear slippers inside the house, but like we don't wear other shoes inside the house." And as I was explaining, I thought, okay, this sounds really weird. I could see why someone would be confused by this, but it's
Yeah.
those like little idiosyncrasies and kind of like weird interactions that make hosting and I think the vacation rental industry so like powerful and so rewarding because you get to learn all these like weird nuances that you wouldn't otherwise.
Exactly.
But yeah, anyway, so I tell that story just because that experience and all of my experiences dealing with guests has been so memorable. But this journey of DTravel is just so personal for me because it really is solving my own problems where, as James mentioned, we are really trying to get back to this concept of direct connections between a property
Mhm.
manager and a guest. Like when Airbnb launched, I was so bought into the vision. Like I actually created AirHost Forum, which is the largest Airbnb forum globally and is still running and active today because I believe so much in
Impressive.
the vision and the community. But I think, this evolution of centralized travel platforms, what has happened is that as they become bigger, I think the reality is that they just have to sort of put shareholder value first. And I totally understand that. And it's not about demonizing one company over another. I think that ultimately at the end of the day, it's the systems that we have in Web 2 that are broken. And that's why we have Web 3, right? And
No, yeah, I
so,
agree.
yeah, exactly. And so it's again, like, I think that whenever you have these big companies, they've really paved the way for us to be able to do what we've done. So Airbnb has done a lot of really great things. They've obviously revolutionized this industry so that we can come along and now transform it into where we want it to be, which is really increasing and empowering operators and owners to be able to book directly with guests, giving them the infrastructure to be able to do that, giving them the tools to be able to distribute. And then I want to dive a lot into, or a little bit, I guess, into why Web3, because I think this is a question that people often wonder, like if you have
Of
Airbnb or
course.
you have VRBO or Booking.com, why do you need Web3? And this actually is very, very critical to the mission and vision that we have, because imagine during COVID, you're a property manager and you have all of these expenses, you have a team that you're running, and you are expecting this revenue that's going to come in for you to pay your staff, for you to feed your family, et cetera. And then COVID hits, and then all of a sudden you have all of your bookings canceled. And now you're still on the hook for all of these expenses, but you have no way to get money in the door. That's exactly what happened during COVID. And so
Yeah.
what happens is when you're reliant on a platform, whether that is a platform like Airbnb, Booking.com, or even something like Stripe or PayPal, ultimately at the end of the day, they have all of the control. They can come along in 1 second and say, we're going to take away your account because you violated our terms or service, or we're pulling out of this geography or region, or any myriad of reasons. And that puts these property managers in a really precarious position. And so with smart contracts, with the payment side of things, because with a smart contract, once it's executed, nobody, including us, can come along and say, we're going to take hold of these funds and take it away from you. And so that gives a lot of reassurance to property managers because they are ensured that they can get the funds that they are relying on. The second thing is that it's censorship resistant. So once a smart contract is deployed and all of our listings get connected to a smart contract, then again, nobody can come along and say, I'm going to close your account. So if they need to run their business, they can continue to do that if they need to. And so those are really, really important parts of what we're trying to accomplish, which is to give ownership and control back to these operators so that they can run their businesses and not have to worry about someone coming along and shutting that down. And to me, that's really the power of Web3, right? Is to give control back to people and to also distribute ownership, which is where our TRVL token comes in.
No, I completely agree. And you mentioned with things like Airbnb, for example, how long its run has been to this point and how much it's evolved. And even with the recent announcements of their like stock drop, I just think that a big change has been needed in that area, like a
Mm-hmm.
massive change. It's
Mm-hmm.
just yeah, it's gotten rough, honestly, in my opinion. I'm not a big fan of using it anymore at this point, just because I kind of developed into the same space of just price wise, it was pretty much equal to hotels at that point, and it just felt kind of tired for me in particular. So yeah, I like this turn. I like this utilization of the different things that we have available in Web3 for these Web2 products, and I think that it'll be a big advantage, for just even the goal of onboarding more people into this space in general. So yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
is very exciting. And you mentioned the TRVL token. Um, my next question is going to be about the greater, obviously, DTravel ecosystem itself. Did you want to start with the TRVL token first? Just kind of give us the use case of it there, and then we'll go into the different pieces of DTravel.
Sure. Yeah. Maybe I could touch on the token and I'll pass it over to James to talk about each of our different products. So the
Of
TRVL
course.
token is really what ties together everything within the ecosystem. And it's going to power everything. So when you hold the TRVL token, you'll basically get access and benefits to everything within the ecosystem. And the token is really critical, as tokens are, I think, in Web3, because what it does is it confers ownership to everybody in the ecosystem. And for me personally, this is just so important because, again, going back to this example of Airbnb in 2020, as COVID was happening, Airbnb also had the largest IPO of the year. I think
Yeah,
their market cap was like $30 billion upon IPO or something, which is crazy because on the one hand, you have all of these operators who are losing hundreds of millions of dollars in aggregate, going out of business. And then on the other hand, you have like billionaires minted overnight from this IPO. And
exactly.
I've been a vacation rental host with Airbnb very early on since 2014. I basically onboarded all of these hosts to Airbnb through the community I had built, and I didn't get an opportunity to get into the IPO. And they actually offered some hosts the opportunity to be able to do that, which is great. But then I think that obviously creates this really unfair advantage
Creates
for
a
some
risk.
people.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. And so I think this is what we're really trying to do with TRVL is to reward everybody and give ownership to everybody within the ecosystem so that we're all aligned. All of our interests are
equal
aligned.
opportunity.
Exactly. Yeah. Because, if we grow, we want everybody in the community who has helped us, who has really been advocates, cheerleaders, evangelists to grow with us and to benefit from that. And obviously that's really crucial to the whole ethos of Web3 is passing on this ownership. And so that's core to everything that we do. That's a core value that we have internally, which is ownership to pass on to the community. And, eventually we want to build up this vision of the DAO where it's not the DTravel team building this out. We want to have all of these sub DAOs that are going to come and do different things because we definitely think that there's so many amazing ideas that come from the community and we try and implement them. But I think it would be so much more powerful to actually have community operated DAOs that come in and do different things. So that's really the vision that we're trying to build towards. And the TRVL token is such a key aspect of that.
No, yeah, I 100% agree with you. Um, as time went on, obviously things like Airbnb started out empowering both sides, where the idea is to empower the user and the rental owner. But to this day, when things get too big, right, at the same time, sort of, I feel like in Web2, the user is more forgotten and it's more just business at that point,
Mm-hmm.
where something can
Mm-hmm.
start out with that beautiful idea and just kind of fizzle away. And when you have these community empowered DAOs, right, with the equal opportunity, the token holding, voting, everything, and even with Galxe, right, like we have our own DAO as well, and we've passed multiple proposals, etc. It's been amazing to see, honestly. So I really do believe that community owned is going to be huge down the line, and it's very exciting to see you guys have that vision as well. So thank you for that. awesome explanation. So we'll go over to Jason now. Could you give us the rundown of the different products in the DTravel ecosystem?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so the DTravel ecosystem, I mean, it's made up of multiple products, and including our ecosystem partners, but I'll just talk about a few of the products now. And some of those are the DTravel protocol, DTravel Direct, DTravel Meridian, and one that we're very excited about, but we haven't yet announced. So I'll tell you a little bit about those first ones, and just to give you a better idea.
Of
So
course.
the DTravel protocol is really the foundation of the ecosystem, and this is something that we've had planned from the beginning, but that we're still building out. And it's moving along quickly, and we're very excited about this. And the protocol, the idea here is that it's going to establish a single source of truth for data across the travel industry, so eliminating the need for duplicate and expensive API builds and maintenance, and really improving connectivity and distribution across vacation rentals and the travel industry. And so all of these products will kind of fit into the protocol. And so the product that we actually have live today, property managers, vacation rental operators are using today to run their business, is DTravel Direct. And DTravel Direct, you can think of it as a Shopify, but for vacation rentals, built on blockchain rails. And what it does
Very
is it
cool.
really allows property managers to quickly spin up a beautiful direct booking website and be able to take payment in both fiat and cryptocurrency, along with a number of other features. So the idea here is that we really wanted to provide the tooling, the infrastructure for operators to be able to stand on their own 2 feet and be able to run their business without relying on third-party online travel agencies anymore. Of course, we don't expect these operators to completely abandon OTAs. I think we still actually envision a future where this will exist, and we sort of envision a world where there's maybe more regional and mini OTAs. But we want to give property managers that infrastructure to be able to run their business independently. And then DTravel Meridian is more of a traveler-focused product. We're very excited about this, and the feature set that we have on the roadmap is very exciting. DTravel Meridian will basically enable travelers to participate more freely in the entire ecosystem. They'll be able to commemorate their trips by collecting digital mementos for bookings. They'll be able to take ownership over their travel data and history, and be able to really earn from travel in a number of different ways. And so earn rewards, perks, discounts, all kinds of different things. So we've got some big ideas about that, and that's currently in development, and we're building it out. And we actually sort of launched a closed beta proof of concept in partnership with Travel.com, and that's live right now. So one aspect of
That's
the
very exciting.
DTravel Meridian is kind of live on Travala, and as a Travala Diamond Tier member, you can Smart Program member, anytime you book a flight, stay, or activity, you can go and mint these stamps that contain all of your booking details from that trip, and be able to sort of take custody over your travel history. And then also sort of rounding this out, and we'll lead into this a little bit, but yeah, we're approaching search in a really interesting way through partnerships with Web3 projects and tools that really are going to make it easy for travelers to discover and book these independent vacation rental websites, or book directly with property managers and owners. And yeah, I'll leave it at that for now. I'll let you know if you have any questions.
No, yeah, you've done a great job with your explanations. This is very exciting for myself in particular. I'm also, as you're explaining, reading through the website as well. I can link it. We can link it below afterwards for everybody to check out. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
So you're in partnership with Travala currently. Is it just for the particular product, or is it something long term? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I mean, we're so the particular product that I spoke about is sort of like a closed beta pilot program for
Yeah.
DTravel Meridian. We also actually have plans to, and this is an example of how we're approaching search. One of the ways we're approaching search, partnerships with Web3 projects. So we are going to be integrating with Travala.com so that any vacation rental operator who creates a direct booking site powered by DTravel Direct, their listings,
Mhm.
they can opt into having their listings come up in search queries on Travala.com. So if you're a traveler, you could go to Travala.com and
Very cool.
filter through homes and search a destination, and then you'd be able to book directly with a property manager who's powering their direct booking website with DTravel Direct.
That
And
works
just
perfectly then. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
yeah, and sorry, to give some context also about why we're leaning into the Web3 distribution channel specifically is that,
Yeah.
if you launch basically a vacation rental product or search, you are competing with essentially the same kind of travelers, right? Because whether you're a traveler looking to book a vacation rental, you're probably going to be looking on Airbnb, Booking.com, VRBO, maybe Expedia, et cetera. And so you're just kind of competing with the same pool of travelers. What makes these Web3 distribution channels really unique is that the type of people who are wanting to book on these channels are Web3 natives. So, for example, Travala, 80% of their bookings are actually in cryptocurrency. So, this is fundamentally a very different group of traveler who is looking to book specifically with crypto. And so that gives us the ability to be able to expose our customers, these property managers, to a completely new type of traveler that they wouldn't otherwise have access to. So that gives us a moat instead of us just trying to go after the same travelers that these other platforms are trying to do. So the way that we approach our strategy and like the benefits that we're trying to bring to our community and to our customers is how can we do this differently? We don't want to just do the same thing that everybody's done. And so all the products within our ecosystem that James talked about is really trying to approach it from this problem, which is, let's get back to the foundational problem that we're trying to solve and understand like how can we really approach this in a different and unique way using Web3 tech, ideally, obviously. But then let's really get at the problem from first principles thinking and then try to solve it in a way that hasn't done before. Instead of really trying to operate within the existing paradigms, because then you recreate the same problems.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And I really like your point in this kind of different type of traveler because, at the end of the day, there are so many different types of travelers, right? And this, these cryptocurrency bookings is a really interesting avenue as obviously, every sort of market run, we grow larger and larger, right? The more people involved grow larger and larger. And I think that line, a lot of people will ignore long term, and you guys will thrive from that in the Web3 space. And it's very difficult as well to target the traditional sort of like Web2 traveler that's very used to using these third-party sites, right? Although they may not know at the same time that, sometimes they're at a massive disadvantage when using these third-party sites, not understanding that, like, for example, web traffic can change. If a certain amount of viewers, I believe it was on like Sun Life before it closed down, but if a certain amount of viewers were looking at a specific like hotel, for example, the actual price could change just based on the amount of people looking at that listing, right? And they're not this direct booking can remove that essentially, right? So it's a really interesting space that a lot of people just completely don't understand how deep it goes. They just think, oh, I book a hotel and it's done, right? But there's so many different levels to it that makes it complicated. And I really do like the idea of just if I wanted to get a room or find a place, I could just talk directly to that person that owns that place and just bam, I can book it and I'm done. So it's very exciting to see this being put together and still worked on as I don't think it gets talked about enough in the Web3 space.
Yeah,
Thank
one of
you
the
for that
things that
explanation.
Sorry, just really quickly. I think, picking up on your point, one of the things that I think gets missed, especially because the narrative is very much around the speculative nature of
Yeah,
cryptocurrencies, is that there is a very real use case in a lot of markets. So if you look at Latin America, you look at Southeast Asia, you look at Turkey, you look at Africa. I mean, these are big, big markets that are adopting crypto because they're actually using it for currency exchange, for peer-to-peer exchange and purchases, and because they don't want to hold their local currency. And we're seeing this so much already, especially in places like Latin America.
agree.
And
Yeah,
and so like we're essentially looking into the future, seeing what is clearly inevitable with, geopolitical increases in tensions, and even like within North America, you see that there's this not hyperinflation, obviously, but inflation that's been higher than it's been for a long time. And so, us really investing in this heavily is us looking at the future and recognizing that this is the direction that everything is going in.
no, I very much agree, and I think that will be the future. I think is the best way that I can think of it, and that it's just going to take time. I think it's sometimes it feels like a slow roll, but it's worth it in my opinion to evolve these stagnant industries in my as we go forward, right? Because people like new things. They also like old things, but I think more people as the generations go on like the new things more. So those younger people, right, that are coming up now and will want to get involved are going to be super interested in pieces like this that empower them and empower them as business owners given the opportunity. So, my next question for you guys as we go into sort of the end zone here of our discussion today. Um, to me personally, I think you've answered this question through the discussion itself, but let's go into it anyways. What do you think for you guys yourself, DTravel, as a Web3 travel project, even comparison to Web2 travel projects? Sorry, companies, businesses, but I keep calling them projects. But what is the defining factor that makes you different? What sets you apart from the rest? And what do you think will, help to push you forward down the line?
So I'd say two values. One is ownership, and ownership meaning ownership over your business, ownership over your policies, terms, conditions, over your funds, but then also ownership in the ecosystem. So that's at the core of everything that we do, and ownership for everybody, not just the property managers, but for the guests, for the community members, for our advocates, our partners. Basically, we want everybody to benefit as being part of our ecosystem and to help us grow. And then the second is the technology, which really empowers the ownership or enables the ownership. But it's really about, how
Yeah,
do we use technology to create those direct connections between a property manager and a guest, or between two parties in our ecosystem? Because at the end of the day, those peer-to-peer direct connections are the most valuable, the most rewarding.
they're
And
huge.
so
Yeah,
that's going to be, yeah, I mean, that's really what underpins the whole of Web3 is this peer-to-peer connection. And so that's always going to be something that we really want to optimize is we don't want to ever be in the middle. We always want to connect two parties directly with each other. And so, how can we do that, whether it's through DTravel Direct, which connects a property manager and a guest, or whether it's through Meridian, which connects a travel partner with a traveler. We're always looking to figure out how we can use technology to really enable that, and then step out of the middle, because we don't ever want to be in the middle of that relationship and that transaction.
no, I completely agree. It's a balance that you have to find. And from what it seems, you guys are on track with that balance, and it's very exciting. So, talking a bit about peer to peer and community, of course. My last question for you guys today, and this is going to be a little bit maybe of a multi question. What's the best way for a community member to get involved with D Travel? As well as if you would like to cover any Galxe campaigns you guys have planned or on right now, as well as any ambassador programs with the everything community here pretty much that you guys
Mhm.
want to talk about today. Let's cover that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, probably the number one thing right now, anyways, is for um, anyone who's interested in what we're doing and wants to be a part of the community. Definitely, follow us on socials, join our Telegram, join our Discord. That's where you're going to be able to find out about the latest updates and product information, and then also some of the initiatives that we have going on for the community. So It's funny, the product that we have right now today is definitely a little more geared toward vacation rental operators, but we do have some products in the pipeline that are going to be released fairly soon that are more traveler focused, and also some features within both DTravel Direct and sort of the traveler side of the products that will be aimed at really engaging traveler and community participation and actually helping grow the ecosystem. So there's some of that on the product side, but right now the DTravel Ambassador program is kind of one of those community initiatives that we have live right now, and we're very excited about that and excited about
Very
being able
cool.
to partner with the Galxe team on this. And yeah, so
Thank you.
we're planning to run a new campaign each month through a series called Departures. And so the first one, Departures M1, just launched on July 1st and will run through to the end of July. And so community members can participate in these monthly campaigns by completing tasks that aim to share our mission, our vision, and bring more awareness to the products we're building, to the ecosystem, and really how we plan to redefine the future of travel and vacation rentals. And in exchange for participating, community members can basically have a chance to win TRVL rewards each month. So not only are they helping really bring awareness to DTravel and grow the ecosystem, but there's some good prizes in there as well. So yeah, we're really excited about this and definitely encourage everyone to learn more about DTravel and participate in these monthly campaigns on Galxe.
No, that's very exciting. I love a creative monthly campaign, definitely, especially travel involved. So I will definitely be participating in this one for sure. Thank you for the amazing explanations, guys. Yeah, you've heard it here. I'm gonna link it below right now. Just give me 1 second. The DTravel Ambassador Program Departures Campaign, month to month. Go check it out, guys. Just give me one moment, and I will link it below. And with that, we're kind of at the end of the discussion today. I just want to give you guys just the last opportunity. Any final words you have for those listening today after our discussion?
I want to shout out the Galxe team. I mean, you guys have been amazing to work with, just really incredible. The tool that you've built and the community to really be able to help other Web3 projects grow. I think that really speaks a lot to the generosity and the ethos of the Web3 community. So yeah, I definitely want to shout that out. Duncan, you've been amazing. I think I mentioned this to you on Telegram, but definitely one of the best
Thank you so
Twitter
much.
Space hosts I've ever had. So yeah, definitely really amazing job. And we're super, super appreciative of everybody showing up. I see a couple of our community members on this call. And so I just want to say, please, like, come to our community. We love new people joining. We're always doing new things, product updates. And so definitely make sure that you join our Telegram, Discord, check out our Twitter, because we always have new things launching. And there's going to be some pretty cool stuff in the Departures that campaign that James put together. So definitely highly recommend that you check it out. And if you want to be a part of the future of travel, then definitely join us. We really want to have all of you join us.
Thank you so much. Very excited for the future with it come to DTravel. Thank you guys so much for coming on. And also, I just wanted to say, I've had the opposite moment of your story with the shoes earlier, because I'm from Canada and we don't wear, like, nobody here wears shoes in the house. Like, it's just not a thing. But I went to visit somebody in America to stay at their place, and they were like, "Why'd you take your shoes off?" So I've had that moment before. So just the inverse. But I just wanted to mention that before I forgot. So thank you so much. And with that, we'll close out for today, and we will see you guys next time.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great
Thanks, guys.
day. Bye.
See you guys.